Good evening. Welcome to this Thursday edition, or as I like to call it, Friday Eve of the Angela Ray Show. I hope that you all have had a great day. I had an amazing day and nothing in particular happened. I can't say that, I got this phone call or that phone call, but I just had amazing joy. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take that joy away. For those of you who are catching tonight's broadcast on the replay, thank you so much for your support. I certainly appreciate it. For all of my viewers who will be catching tonight's broadcast live, do me a favor. You know how we do at the Angela Ray Show. Do me a favor. Go ahead and slide in those comments and tell me what your favorite dessert is. Tell me what your favorite dessert is. I will eat sweets, but I'm not a huge dessert person, probably because I don't do a lot of baking, even though I do a lot of cooking. I did add a dessert to my repertoire during the quarantine. I learned how to make banana bread from scratch. And if I must say so myself, I do a pretty good job at that. But yes, if you're going to be catching the broadcast live tonight, go ahead and slide in those comments and let me know what your favorite dessert is. LaDonna, who has her own show over on Instagram. Thank you so much for being on the broadcast tonight. I certainly appreciate it. Key lime pie. I do like key lime pie as well. When I have an opportunity to eat some, that's something I have never made. My desserts are like very basic. I just added the banana bread. I do an amazing chocolate pie, and that might be it. I can do a cake, but there's a long story about me and cakes, and we don't have time for that tonight. So, as we always do, we're going to go ahead and get started with our Ray of Motivation moment on tonight. And for tonight's Ray of Motivation moment, I just want to challenge you to be aware of how you speak, particularly the words that you speak. So, for example, I know that I am guilty from time to time of saying that I don't have time for X, Y, and Z. I don't have time to cook a home cooked meal, which that's rare for me. I will make the time to cook. Other things may go to the side, but I will make the time to cook. But instead of saying I don't have time to, change that to it's not a priority for me. Change that to it's not a priority for me. And I can guarantee you that when you change that, because essentially, when we don't make time for things consistently over and over again, it's really not a priority. And if it's not a priority, but we say it's important, then we got to go back to the drawing board and have a little conversation one on one with ourselves. But so often, time seems to be that big issue. How do I have enough time? And we all know every now and then we're in the middle of something and it just seems like the day just got away from us. That would be me today. I looked up and saw what time it was. I was like, whoa, it's time to go in the kitchen. I told y'all I make time to cook a home cooked meal. And that I did. But yes, instead of saying I don't have time, change that to it's not a priority for me right now. And see exactly how that feels. Hey, Sor, Michelle, thank you so much for being on the broadcast tonight. That is our Ray of Motivation moment for this Thursday edition of the Angela Ray Show. Well, I'm very excited to welcome my guest on tonight. His name is Ken Israel, and he burst onto the entertainment scene in 2013, and since that time has amassed nearly 50 credits in film and television. He has a very commanding presence. He stands at 6 feet one, and he has worked with some of Hollywood's biggest names. A few of his film credits include a Greenbook with Academy Award winning Mahershala Ali, Instant Family with Academy Award winner Octavia Spencer. Oh, I can't wait to work with her. And Godzilla, King of Monsters, starring Emmy Award winning actor Kyle M. Chandler. He is originally from Boston, where he worked as a police officer, eventually leaving that to become a security officer, but got bit by the acting bug and decided to pursue that dream. So, help me welcome tonight Mr. Ken Israel. Ken, thank you so much for being on the Angela Ray Show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it is definitely my pleasure. Hey, Keisha, I haven't seen you in forever, girl. We got to catch up. We got a lot to catch up on. Oh, so Ken, I'm just curious. Oh, Peach cobbler. Okay. I don't know if you heard me before before I brought you on talking about people's favorite desserts. I'm sorry. That just
I
made
heard
me
the key
smile.
lime pie, see the peach cobbler. Yeah, okay. I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
getting hungry now.
Let me tell you something about that peach cobbler. And
Oh
I
man.
really for me, I could have a whole pan of peach cobbler with two peaches and all crust. I absolutely
It's
positively love the crust.
ironically it's on the menu for Sunday. I have a buddy that's returning from LA
Hmm.
and he really loves my wife's cooking and he has requested a peach cobbler on his return.
Oh,
So
I know where you live. So,
come on over. Yeah.
so I'm just curious. This has been a very different time for those of us in the entertainment industry. Many of us have, like I said, one of the things that I did, I learned how to make banana bread. Never thought I would learn how to make banana bread. It wasn't on my to-do list, but here we are, and now I make a
That's
pretty
right.
good banana bread. So, what have you been doing during this downtime of the pandemic?
So I guess my main thing was just trying not to put on that COVID weight. um,
Hello.
yeah, right. So I've been just really doing a lot of projects around the house. I redid my studio, planted a garden, started
Oh.
cycling. Yeah, I even had to go all the way to Alabama because there's a shortage of bicycles. I had to drive to Alabama to buy a bicycle that would fit my frame. So yeah, it's been challenging to stay busy and just stay ready and just hoping things get back to work and you know trying to deal with the isolation and the withdrawal from your normal social life and friends and activities. And I'm a world traveler, so not being able to go anywhere is also been a challenge. Hello, Donna.
Yeah, it's oh my gosh, yeah. You traveling to Alabama just to get a bicycle. I someone from my church mentioned recently that she and her husband had two extra bikes and they were able to sell them for $500 because
Yeah,
there was a
yeah,
shortage of bikes. I was like, for a bicycle? Like, does it ride
bicycle.
itself? Like,
Yeah,
does it talk like Kit? I don't understand. Yeah, so that is amazing. Who would have thought in 2020 there would be a shortage of bicycles?
right. What a year.
Um, what a year. You worked in law enforcement and security before you got involved with acting, but what exactly prompted the move to show business?
Uh, the interest was always there. Um,
Okay.
it's just well, life took me in a different direction. At the time when I was a police officer, there wasn't a chance to pursue it. And then I got injured and had a lot of time on my hands. And I had a friend who was making commercials, and he was in well, yeah, he was in the industry. Now he's a filmmaker, and he finally gave me the information to put me on track.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually started in Boston. I shot like a couple of commercials for like a savings bank and something else. And then after relocating to Atlanta, when Atlanta was starting to boom, um, it was an easier transition because the resources was here, the training was here, the opportunities for getting into the industry was here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just I remember my wife talked me into doing background work, and it was interesting. It was different. And then I worked Necessary Roughness, and we was doing a montage scene. I was a football coach, and I was working along Greg Allen Williams, and we struck up a really nice, you know, relationship. But
Mm-hmm.
but that was the beginning, and I was like, how do I make this jump from background acting to principal acting? And he was like, I have a school. I've been watching you. You seem like you have some chops. I would love to train you. And that began my training and uh, my striving to get my career going.
Okay.
And then eventually, after you trying and you're doing the indies and you're working for the food credit, no food, no credit, no copy,
Copy
no
credit
gas
food.
money.
Right.
Eventually, I booked the Vampire Diaries, and
Okay.
it's like, oh man, I think I'm on my way. I got that credit, and then it
Mm-hmm.
was like a while again for the next one. So
Mm-hmm.
and then I it's like I've met great people along the way. Even when I was working in the airline industry and corporate security, I met someone who was looking to become an actor or get her career going. And she was
Mm-hmm.
training in LA. I was like, wow, I need that kind of training. She was like, well, if you want, I'll introduce you to my coach. He agreed to take a meeting. She agreed to fly with me all the way to LA. We met with the coach. His name is Paul Comp. We met at a diner. Uh, we had lunch, and he was, like, what it is you want to do. I'm like, this is not a hobby. I need this like I need my last breath. It's like, well, if you commit to coming to LA to train, I'll commit to training you for the next 6 months every weekend. Got on a
Mm.
plane and I went to LA to get my training in. And then it just slowly kept the bookings started coming.
Okay.
And then I just been really blessed and really, really fortunate, really fortunate.
Yeah, because you've been busy. You've definitely been busy. And Necessary Roughness, I hate that show got canceled. I
I
absolutely
did
love
too. Yeah,
that
it was like,
show. It
man,
was
it's a
such
good
a
show.
cute show. Yeah. I hate it got canceled. Speaking of LA, you have worked in the Southeast, New York, as well as LA, and you had an opportunity to work on one of my all time favorite soap operas, The Young and the Restless. So tell me what that experience was like.
Wow. Okay. So the Young and Restless. Now that was also my favorite soap growing up. My grandmother was a huge fan. So like, not only like when I would get home from school before doing homework, I had to watch the Young and Restless. But if I went to my grandmother's house, she was always
Hmm.
watching the Young and Restless. So when
How
the
far
art
back did you go with YNR? Okay. So do you remember before Nikki and Victor were married? You remember when he had another
time,
wife? I said, do you
yeah,
remember before Victor married Nikki, he had another wife?
Lord,
You
you
don't
want
go
to
back that
test me on
far?
it?
Do you go back that
It's
far?
like I
I
can't
can't
think of the
remember her
name.
name. I can't think of her name either, but she was a brunette. And I remember she used to be at the ranch. And Nikki was a stripper. You don't remember that?
You tested my idea. Oh man, but
I mean, that's
yeah,
like I was
the
probably
storyline.
5 watching and did not need to know that. But, it is what it is. And soap operas weren't quite as they didn't show as much and they didn't the topics weren't exactly as explicit as they are
They
today.
are
So,
now, right? Yeah,
right,
yeah,
so it's different. But so,
yeah.
you got a chance to work on The Young and the Restless and
And I got to work with the the two characters, my two favorite characters, Jack Abbott and Victor Newman, Nicholas.
oh
All of
goodness.
them were like in the scenes for the 2 days that was on the show. Um,
Mhm.
I got the audition. I was supposed to go to LA for the audition, but we were having the remnants of a hurricane pass through. And my management reached out and told them what the circumstance. And it was on in this particular instance, we want to let them tape it. And I was like, wow, what's the chances of
Right.
putting on a tape for what usually you have to go in a room for?
Mhm.
But I did book it. And I remember, pulling up and you get to the gate and you see that CBS studios and you just like, wow, it was a really, really magical moment. Um, I remember going in and Peter um, introduced himself to me like, hey, welcome to Young and Restless. You need anything, let me know. And I was like, wow, anybody here was happy to help you. It was just everyone was super nice. Um, it was magical. I'm just sitting here. I remember one time in between thing, I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm with the two coolest guys in daytime TV. And then Eric was
Mhm.
like, well, of course you're talking about me. I'm like, yeah, of course. Every man wanted to be Victor Newman, So
And
it
Dick
was,
Newman.
oh, it was a blast. It was absolutely a blast.
Yeah. I think there are people who don't even watch The Young and the Restless, but they know who Victor Newman is. It just iconic. Just an
Jack
iconic
Abbott.
character. And Jack, yeah, this is where now that's the second Jack. The that's not the original Jack, but I remember when they switched. Yeah, I've been watching it way too long.
I
I
see. Yeah,
don't
you're more.
way
You got more history and
way too
knowledge
long.
than I can remember.
Now, thinking about some of your other work, you got a chance to work on the movie Green Book, and it was an amazing film. In the moment of working on it, did you have any idea that that film was going to be as successful as it was?
No, and seldom times I imagine people don't know, because when you're shooting, how everything is so pieced together, and it's not until you get to see the final product. But when you're just doing
Right.
your little piece of the puzzle,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's Mahershala, but I've worked with him before in House of Cards. So I
Okay.
have been equating with him before. Like when I got there, like, hey, how you doing again? Um, Viggo Mortensen, and it's just like, oh man, these guys have been watching forever, but you still didn't have any, no kind of really inkling that this thing is going to win an Academy. It's just,
Right.
it didn't, I couldn't have predicted it, no, but it was fun working on it. It was real brief. Um, it was a kind of an add-on, and I, my management called and was like, "Hey, you think you can put this on tape?" And get it back to us like in an hour. And luckily, I have my own studio, so I was able, like, "Hey, honey, wake up! Let's tape this." Came right down, taped it, sent it back in, and they were like, "Yeah, you know." Yeah. So it
Wow.
was fortunate timing, timing.
I thought I remember getting a call at 1 o'clock to be at an audition at 5 p.m. and driving and not even having a script yet. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And booking. So I thought I was doing something, but you had to turn around something in an
Sometimes
hour.
that
And say,
pressure,
hey,
I
you
think,
got me.
helps.
You
It's
got
just like,
me.
hey, you just gotta. So yeah, it just was the timing. Again, I have to give God all the thanks. I have really been blessed. I have been in the right place at the right time a few times to have been
Hmm.
fortunate to have worked. Um, I've been blessed to have worked some really great shows. House of Cards. I
Yeah.
was able to get on House of Cards when they first opened it up, looking for people here in the Southeast and Atlanta area, or away from the main cast, and I was able to book 4 of the episodes. Um, 3 made it to air, and that was a great time too. I love that show. Hate that
Yeah.
what happened in the end there, but
Yeah.
it's
Rita Pardo, hey girl, how you doing? Rita says she has always wanted to be an actress. I can see that because you be clowning. Rita Pardo, I had an opportunity to interview her maybe about 2 months ago. She's an entrepreneur. She has a business called Pardo Naturals, where she has all naturals deodorants, soaps, creams, candles, dishwashing detergent where,
yeah,
it's all
right.
natural.
I can
So,
check out limited
yeah,
aromatherapy.
Pardo
Get my
Naturals.
candles going now.
Com, and but when she's on live and when she's doing stuff behind the scenes, she can be clowning. So I can see that, Rita. I can see that. Now look. You know what? My good friend Edwin, who's a big supporter of the show, he said that Peter Bergen, Jack Abbott was Cliff from All My Children. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that. Now he said Terry Lester. I was like, that was the original Jack. I remember that. Unfortunately, he is no longer with us. I remember hearing when he passed away. But what I really remember about Terry Lester's character in one episode was that his wife, he was married to somebody named Patty. Maybe Patty was Paul's. Okay, Edwin, it sounds like you are a Y&R buff. So put me on track with this if I'm wrong. But yeah, she was about to commit suicide and he talked her out of it and she shot him instead. And it was like, what?
Okay.
Yeah. She showed up to what is it? Abbott no, Jabot. I was about to say Abbott Cosmetics. Jabot Cosmetics. Hmm. Yeah. So Jabot Cosmetics. So this has been an unusually slow time for us and for most of us. There have been some people who've been doing some indie projects here and there, but this has been unusually slow. Now, outside of this, every now and then, as actors, we do have those slow periods. So how do you stay motivated? You don't have a lot of slow periods though, because I
No, that's I do. I go through
what like a
s-
week, and then it's like, oh man, I haven't talked to anybody in a
no,
week. I auditioned.
I had a pretty good year 2018. 19 was decent, but then I hadn't booked anything since October of 2019. So I was
So this year started
kind
off
of
slow,
going through
and
that.
then it stopped.
It spurts, and then it seemed like I'm booking, and then it is slow down, and then I'll book, and then something else will happen right after that. But it looks like I'm always booking because, like, I have a film with Ryan Reynolds that's due to come out that was supposed to come out July 3rd, but with COVID, the release has been pushed back to be determined status. Um, so then, then all of a sudden it'll drop and like, oh, you're in another movie, but it's something that's been shot, waiting for a release.
I
Um,
get it.
yeah, so I got that one, and then there's the Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt. Whenever that's going to be
Yeah.
released,
I want to say my friend Rose may be in that as well.
she
I can't remember.
is.
I thought
Yes,
she was. Yeah.
yeah.
We
I
we
work
may
with
have
her in
actually worked on
Godzilla
that
also.
audition together. Yeah,
Yeah,
you two work a
yes,
lot together.
yes.
Definitely. All right. Edwin has a question for you. Are you able to see it?
Most actors are vertically challenged. This associates with them being the height. It's surprising. Um, People that you would think are tall, be like, oh, I didn't realize their statue wasn't what I thought it was. And there have been people I've met that I just looked at Jason Bateman for one. I always thought Jason Bateman was a short, small guy, and he's not. Kevin Spacey's not a small guy. So sure isn't small. So I haven't had that issue where my height has been a problem. Matter of fact, at one point I wasn't tall enough. They put me in risers. I worked
Oh.
mine mine hunter in Pennsylvania for the 4 days while up there shooting. I have risers that's like heels in my boots because the character I was playing opposite was a real life character, and the actor they hired was taller than the real life character, so they needed to bring my height up so it wouldn't be that much of a height difference. So I had to
Hmm.
walk around in these riser heels for like 4 days, uh, twice. So it's like a total of like 8 days. So, ladies, I understand. I don't see how you can do it every and cut. I had to kick them off. It's like, this is torture.
Right. That's funny. That is funny. Um, Patty was Paul's sister. Oh, he's we still on Young and the Restless. So okay. I thought Patty was Paul's sister. This, but we talking like years ago. Like she
We
was
go
crazy.
way back, way
She,
back.
way back. All right. So Evelyn has another question for you.
Do you remember your first audition? If so, how did you feel? My first audition. I can't remember my first audition. Can't
Mm.
remember what it was, but I do remember the feeling of, okay, great, because I was going to class at Actors Breakthrough with Greg Allen Williams, and there's other actors coming in, like Miles Musselman, who was there at the same time,
Oh, he
who's
was on
gone
the
on
show
to a
earlier this
series
week.
regular. Yeah, right. So they're coming in and like, oh, I got this audition to work on. I'm like, well, how do I get an audition? Oh, you need an agent. How do I get an agent? Oh, you need credits. How do I get credits? It was like a catch 22.
Yeah.
And again with the luck. Um, remember Arnold Schwarzenegger was shooting a movie, and I was like, they're looking. The guy was auditioning for a police officer role. I'm like, but that's what I did. How do I get that audition? And I came home. I took a headshot, tried to fluff it up as much as I could with the stuff I had done, and I sent it out to a bunch of agents, and Jenny Van Dyke was opening her mail. She looked at the picture, flipped it over, didn't see it, was going to put it in her no pile. But her son
Mm,
Chris, who she was training to become an agent in the industry, teach him the agency industry business, happened to see it. It was like, Mom, he looks like my favorite MMA fighter. Bring him in for an audition. So she brought me in as a favor to her son, and really literally just told me, like, I did it as a favor to Chris. I didn't think you were going to be able to act, but I want to sign you. And that was
wow.
how I got my first agent, on him just walking by, seeing uh, my headshot, and think I look like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu mixed martial artist that he likes, and was like, bring him in for me as a favor to me. So thanks, Chris.
Wow. Yeah, that's an interesting story. Rita has a question for you.
If I ever had a stunt double, yes, Godzilla. I had a stunt double who was
Okay.
present, but I was having so much fun. I wanted to do my own stuff. um, yeah, it was just like it was weird. Like, oh man, same height, ball head, matching uniforms. I'm like, yeah, I got this though, because I mean, it was like being a big kid on the Godzilla set. I mean, they hit the Monster Zero noise and the Godzilla war, and I was like, oh man, it's yeah, making it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. It's a job, but
Hmm.
there are a lot of fun moments, and that getting to be a big kid. I remember telling the director, he's like, as a kid, I would watch all the Godzilla movies from the 50s and go to sleep in Boston, have nightmares of Godzilla coming through Boston and wrecking it. And here I am making a movie where Godzilla comes to Boston and destroys Boston. And that was another fun set. Uh, Great people. Kyle was super great guy, really
Mm.
solidarity guy.
Now, speaking of doubles, you actually have a twin brother.
I do have a
Has
twin brother.
has that ever? And it's funny. I saw your twin at I think I was at Praise in the Park, and I had to do a double take, and I was like, wait,
Right,
no,
well, we're not
yeah,
identical twins, because
no,
if he was
but
sitting
you
right
look
next,
alike.
you could
You look a
see.
lot alike, though.
Yeah, but we are actually fraternal twins, but when we're
I did
not
not
together,
realize that. I did not realize y'all were fraternal. I would not have known that unless you
yeah,
told me.
yeah, so when I run into people, they be like, "Hey," I be like,
You got me mixed up with my brother.
"Yeah," I'm like, "Give me something." They're like, "No, I'm not Keith." Are you thinking of Keith? And same thing with him, man. He run people into the industry and like, "Hey, Ken," he be like, "Oh yeah, no, that's my brother."
Oh, Rita says she remembers you and Godzilla. Hey, friend.
Oh, okay, later.
Now, this series that I'm doing, Rehearsing for the Leading Role, is really tied into the relaunch of my book, Megastar Student Leadership. It's a leadership book that I wrote based on my acting career, where I take something I learned as an actress and adapt that as lessons for student leaders. Being that you have had this amazing career, are there any leadership lessons that you've learned as an actor?
Uh, wouldn't necessarily say as an actor, because I personally think, coming into this industry at the time in my life where I did, I came with already a whole lifetime of experiences. I wasn't just a Boston cop who just wrote speeding tickets. I was very involved in the community. I started a lot of
Mhm.
grassroots programs, some that's been replicated around the world. We had a great relationship with the Black community. We had partnerships with schools. So the leadership portion was already in place. But what I have come to realize about what we do is the platform, the voice.
Hmm.
and the responsibility for speaking up when we need to use that voice. And the bigger your platform, the more your voice needs to be heard if it's influential and you have something to add.
Right.
Um, so like with the George Floyd, that hit me hard. I mean, man, that hit me hard. I did this one video, and it was really raw and emotional, and I hit the streets and protested. It's a responsibility that just comes because of how people perceive the profession, the celebrity status that goes along with the acting career.
Hmm.
That once you do have that platform and you do have that audience or that capability of reaching people, then it's upon us to be able to use our voice to raise awareness to issues that's concerns, and even whatever small level here at this beginning stage I can do that or lend my voice, then that's required required.
Yeah. I remember seeing your video right after that happened. That was, as we were talking right before we went live, it seems like that was a lifetime ago because so much has happened even since that time that is almost,
Right. Like, how
it's
worse can it
challenging
get?
to, right. Absolutely. Well, changing the subject just a little bit and looking ahead at the holidays, you did a Christmas movie last year, and I cannot wait to do a Christmas movie because depending on the network, a lot of them are similar. They're
Yeah, true.
feel
Yeah,
good movies. They're feel good movies, and
I feel
you
good about
know. So I'm looking forward to doing one. But what was your experience like working on a Christmas film last year?
that. I'm a big family guy. Christmas has always been my favorite time of year. Um, so working on something that I knew it was going to be shown Christmas time, and people could enjoy it and help bring in the holiday spirit. It was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
The toughest part is attending this December when it's July and August. It's dealing
Right?
with the heat while you dressed up like it's Christmas. But it was a lot of fun. Just with the set and all the stuff. It was a really Christmas feel to the shoot. So it was a lot of fun. I was came close on a couple this year with the network, but went another direction, and that happens
Ooh,
more than I would like for it to happen. But it's part of what we do. So
definitely.
yeah, I'm hoping to have gotten another Christmas movie in this year. Still keeping my
Well,
fingers crossed.
yeah, I
Hallmark,
was gonna say
Lifetime,
it's not too late.
everybody's Christmas movies.
You see that comment from Edwin?
Yes, that was Hudson. Yeah, she did me wrong, man. I knew I was going to jail. Just knew it. Yeah, that was intimidating.
Working
That
with
one was
Gabrielle Union,
intimidating.
or just being on that set in general?
Well, how long we got to tell this story?
Ooh, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we get there, do the rehearsal. Nima Barnett is the director. We do a quick rehearsal, and she's like, "Okay, cut on rehearsal, Eric. Everybody, give me a few minutes. Let me work with Ken." I was like, "Oh, oh, oh! Did I stink? What happened?" She's like, "Come here, baby." So we walk all the way over to the other
Was this
side
the
of the set.
director or who is
This
this?
is the director.
Okay.
Um, love her, Nima Barnett. So she sits down.
Yeah, she does a lot with Queen Sugar. She's worked
Yeah,
directed a lot in
so
Queen Sugar.
she sits down, and I'm sitting down opposite her, almost like knee to knee, and she leans in. She's like, you know, when Gabby asked me to come back and direct this scene, this storyline, it was this scene in particular that convinced me. I'm like, okay. She's like, yeah. So I mean, I need you to bring it. I'm like, okay. She was like, this is for Trayvon. This is for, she just
Oh,
started. Yeah, she was going down the names. She was like, do you get me? I was like, yeah. Like, oh, damn, no pressure there, right? She just
right.
walked away. Like, oh my God. Oh man, what? So it was like, press is on. And
Yeah.
yeah, first take, it was like, um, yeah, cut. Like, yes, I'm like, is that what you wanted? And I'm like, yes, baby, we're going again. Like, let's go again. And yeah, but yeah, that you could feel the importance of the moment. She really helped me get to that place of bringing the importance of the story home.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Good.
heavy. That's heavy.
That's
Um,
but that's a good
but that's a
director.
good director. Yeah, that's what I was like. You took the words right
That's a
out of
good
my mouth.
director.
That is a good director.
Yeah,
You gotta know what you need to drop to
right.
bring an actor up to the level of the performance where you need them to be. Hmm. Yeah, amazing. So, as we get ready to wrap up, any final thoughts about the business or anything that you can share that's coming up? I know there's some things you may not be able to share, but anything that you can share about some projects that may be coming down the pipeline.
Uh, again, once Free Guy, once they decide when they're going to or how they're going to handle that release, I'll be appearing in Free Guy.
Okay.
Hopefully, I didn't hit the the editing floor on the Tomorrow War. So those two
Right.
projects coming up, and there's a project I booked that's been put on pause, Alice, with
Mhm.
Kiki Palmer, Common, um, Synchro Walls from American Soul, who I got a chance to work with before on a couple of episodes there. So I'm really looking forward to shooting that. That was a great story. It's really interesting story. I'm looking forward to that one. I get to play Common's brother.
I mean, hey, like water for chocolate. Okay.
I think we're the same complexion in the bald head, so
Right, right. Hey, whatever works, whatever works.
right,
However, we got
right,
to get
whatever
this
works,
work,
because sometimes it works
whatever works.
against us. So
Hmm. It does. Well, Ken, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to
thank
hang
you
out
for
with
asking
us
me to do
tonight
this.
for the show. You are welcome. Definitely a pleasure. And yeah, I might have on a mask and a face shield, but don't act like you don't know me when I come to the
Come
door
on, get
saying to
that
get my
peach
two
cobbler. So,
You think I'm playing, and I'm sure not playing.
I
Oh,
think
uh, Rita, yes, he does. His IG is scrolling at the bottom of the screen right now. She said she gonna follow you since y'all friends now.
I'm looking forward to seeing you, Rita.
Awesome. All right. Well, Ken, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I
Too.
may see you Sunday, like for real though.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right, that is it for this Thursday edition of the Angela Ray Show. As always, I would like to remind you all of Ray of Motivation number 54. Cleaning a mirror does not change the person who is reflected in it. Until next time, I encourage you all to go out and be the change. And I did see your comment earlier, Rita, about the book. Thank you so much. There is a link in the caption for tonight's broadcast on how to connect with Megastar Student Leadership. It is a great book for high school and college students. So if you work with young people, whether that is you are an educator, if you work in the community, whether you're in a sorority or a fraternity or a nonprofit organization, or if your church mentors young people, both high school and college students, I would love to get that book in their hands. So make sure you make yourself acquainted with that link in the bio. I will see you all tomorrow night. Have a great evening.